And here we are, yet another Wednesday Walkie Talkie. It's actually weather-wise not too bad today. Well, it's overcast, but it's cooler than it has been, which is nice. And it's not pelting it down with rain, which is also nice. Although now that we're going on in this country, because we've had like a month without it raining nearly every day, they're crying now about, oh, we might be ready to have a drought. All right, okay. A country there where it rains for like 10 months of the year. If there's a drought, it's because the water authorities are shite at water retention. Anyway, what to chat about today? You know, it's a bit of a tough one today. I haven't really got much to talk about. I'll tell you what I can do. Hang on, I'll just sort my life out here. Talk about what I've been playing. I've been playing the Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Now, the original Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag was probably my favourite of the series, if I'm being honest. And I did have it on PC. Oh, well, I had it on PlayStation 4, and then I got it on PC. It was part of like a big sale that was on with Assassin's Creed games. So I bought them. It was like a really cheap, and it was like a mass load of Assassin's Creed games. So I got that as part of that, and I've been playing it on PC. And one of the things that they'd done, they did a patch, I think a couple of years ago now, and there was an element of the game which was Kenway's fleet, and they broke it, and they never fixed it, so you couldn't do part of the game, which is a way for your character to earn money and resources, but you weren't able to do it because they patched the game and broke it, and they never fixed it, obviously, because they probably thought, well, we'll do this resynced version of the game. You know, believe me, a couple of years ago they will have known they were doing this, and that's why they never bothered to fix it. But anyway, they've completely reworked that side of things now in the new version, and I've been enjoying it. It sold really well. I think last time I checked, I think they've actually sold like 3 million copies of this in a week, which, you know, for a remaster is actually really good. It's actually really good for a game that's already been out once. And it goes to show that good games do sell, even if they're remasters, or in this case they call it resynced, which is just remaster. It's just because the synchronization is part of the game. Let's go and see if we've anything in the little water thing over here. Hasn't been for the past few weeks. I think they're all in the main lake, not one of these little smaller side ones. Doesn't look like there's anything there. Mind you, it is difficult to see, but it doesn't look like there's anything there. Again, nope. So, anyway, let's go back onto the track. Or should I? No, you know what? Let's do something different. Let's see what's down here. So anyway, now it feels like the kind of the path where I come across one of the Black Riders from Mordor. Anyhow, yeah. So I've been enjoying that. I've been playing that quite a lot and enjoying it. I know I do have it on PC. I got it on Steam. It wasn't available on GOG, so I'm just trying not to get hooked up on these thorns. It's been burning something here. Oh, this is just going to come round and rejoin the pathway here a bit further up from where I would normally be. It is a little bit of an interesting thing. Just dodge a few more thorns. So, yeah, we rejoin the path where I would have been before. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? Just how well this is sold. Bearing in mind it is a remaster. It's essentially a re-release of a game on the PS4. But as I was saying, ordinarily I would have got this on the PS5 on disc. I do have the other Assassin's Creed games on the PlayStation. All bar 2. Unity and Syndicate I have on the Xbox, but all the others I have on PlayStation. But not now, because there's no point, to my mind, buying physical media on PlayStation anymore. Because if, as I said before, if they're doing away with it on the PS6, what happens when, let's just say, my PS5 lasts another couple of years or so, and the PS6 comes out, and then they stop making the PS5, and you can't get a brand new one anymore, and my PS5 packs in, I'm going to be stuck with a load of games that I can't play. I'd have to repurchase them digitally. And likewise, that's also apply to the Xbox. I mean, Microsoft at the moment are still not saying whether their Helix or their Project Helix console will support physical media. I doubt it, but I don't know. And so if we are going down this all digital path, I'm doing it on PC. It's cheaper, and I have more of a selection of places to buy the stuff from. So that's that. Sorry Sony, but I'm not gonna invest in physical media for the PS5 where I can help it, where I have other alternatives, because I'm essentially buying something that I know I won't be able to play in years to come. And I would, in order to play it, I'd have to buy it digitally anyway. So it doesn't make sense. And then now Sony will start to say, well, look, you see, the Assassin's Creed games outsold the physical copies. Yeah, because you've just killed physical media. You've give it an end date, and you're basically saying that they won't be able to play them on the PS6 when it comes out. So why would I invest in something that I know has got a shelf life that's going to, possibly be up in a couple of years? Because the PS5 won't last forever. As I've said before, the components they use in consoles these days are cheap, they're crappy, they're prone to fail. You know, you're not going to see too many 30, 40-year-old PS5s because everything now is all firmware. So even if you swap the drive out on it, you need, you know, it has to be done officially, because, you know, if you stick your own drive in it, then there is the really big chance that your console will get bricked when it connects to the internet, and you probably need to get the firmware update for the drivers to work, for your drive to work, I mean. So if you mod your console, they brick it. And this is something that Sony, Microsoft and Nintendo have done for quite a number of years now, which is why it made me laugh when people were complaining about the Switch 2 and that, was it the MIG cartridge thing? That they were disabling your online connectivity if you were caught using it. Well, yeah, that's the thing that's been going on for years. You know, tell me something new. So, geez. So, yeah, it just doesn't make sense for me to invest in something that I know is going to disappear. I've thought, will Sony change their mind? I actually don't think they will, you know, because the people that are against this are aware of this and are against this. Sony probably think, well, that's small change compared to our installed user base. The problem is a great many people won't become aware of it until the PlayStation 6 is unveiled without the disk drive. That'll be when people will kick off. That's when your average consumer, the average gamer, you know, the one that probably buys like 4 games a year and that's it. You know, they buy the latest Call of Duty, the latest FIFA or Madden, and you know, probably a couple of other games. You know, they play what is it, that Fortnite and stuff like that. You know, they don't really buy games on a monthly basis. They buy the odd game and they buy the DLC and that's it. That makes up the vast majority of people that buy consoles. So they're not keeping abreast of the gaming news or anything like that. Most of them won't know. Most of them will just go, oh, PS6 is coming out. Oh, I'll buy it because I've got a PS5, right? And then when they go to buy it, it's like, hey, where's the disk drive? They don't have one. Oh, how do I play all my old games? Well, you don't. But a lot of them, you see, won't care because they only play the latest games like Call of Duty and the latest FIFA. They'll just uninstall the old one and never play it again. They're not collecting games. They don't actually care about ownership. You know, they rent movies, they subscribe to Netflix. You know, they don't actually go out and buy anything physical apart from the actual hardware. Software they don't care about. And that's the new norm. And that's the problem. Like, for people that care, what do I duck? For people that actually care, that we're just not in sufficient number these days. So, you know, something that might come with a 4 terabyte hard drive or something, it's probably more than enough for them because they're not got more than 3 or 4 games installed at any time. And like I say, the casual gamer is the one that is the one in greater number. And like I say, they'll buy the Call of Duty and then they'll be like, oh yeah, new mission pack or new maps, or I'll get the season pass or something. You know, the FIFA, you know, they'll get the FIFA and they'll play the, what is it, Ultimate Team. By the way, the last FIFA game was, not FIFA, is it? It's FC now, Football Club or whatever. By God, that was crap. That is one of the most jankiest, rubbish football games I've ever played. You have to go back to like Peter Beardsley's International Football. That was about the last time that it was about the last time I played a football game that was that bad. I mean, there've probably been others, I just didn't play them. But dear God, is it 26? FC 26? Oh, what an absolute catastrophe of glitch, bugs, jank, stuff not working properly. Yeah. But anyway, you see, people will just like bin it off. Next one comes out, let's buy it. Same with movies. You watch a film and that's it, they're done. You know, they either watch it through Netflix or, you know, they'll pay for, you know, what, about a few quid to rent it. And that's it. They've no intentions of ever watching it again. And they've no intentions of watching it in its best quality. You know, they'll watch it on an iPhone, for God's sake. They'll watch it on an iPhone, they'll watch movies on a tablet or on a computer monitor. They will not, at any point, because if you're going to watch it the best it can be outside of the cinema, you need a big TV and a 4K player. And the physical media will always provide a superior sound and picture experience than streaming it. That's just a fact. I can tell you right now, I've watched stuff that's supposedly in 4K on Disney Plus. I can, and then I'll put in the same movie on a 4K, and in some cases even on just a standard Blu-ray, and the picture and sound is massively better. It really is notably better. And I've got, you know, high-speed internet, so it's not a connection issue. So, but most people don't really care. I mean, if you're somebody who's going to sit and watch a bloody movie on your phone, you're not bothered about it, the picture quality being the best it can be. So like I say, that sort of accounts for the average user, the majority, unfortunately. So that's what they base everything off. Because those people, they don't care about owning stuff. You know, they just want to watch a film and then that's it. Even ones that they really like. There's no longevity to it. So not owning stuff is almost what they've become accustomed to. Where like older generations like myself, you know, physical media was the only way you could ever watch something, or play something, or listen to something, or read something. There weren't any digital alternatives back then. So you appreciate the value of it and the freedom that comes with it. Because there's a lot of freedom to owning something physical. Digital requires certain checkpoints that you have to get through in order to be able to do it. Your DRM being the biggest. there's a lot of stuff requires you to be connected to the internet. I know, like for example, when you're streaming a film, you obviously need internet connection, and it needs to be good. So, you know, that is a limiting factor. Yes, you need the physical player, but you know, that's just the device, isn't it? So if you've got a physical player, physical media player, it's connected to your TV, that's just your phone that you're watching your film on, or your tablet or your computer. You've already got something physical. Ducks and swans. No, I don't have any food. See, like I say, you already have the physical thing in your hand, the device. But if your internet goes down, you can still read a book. You can still watch a movie. You can still play a game if you've got the physical disc. You're not getting booted out of the game because, you know, the DRM system can't function because there's no online connectivity. So of course, you know, immediately the game assumes that you're trying to pirate the game or do something nefarious with the game. But that's what I think will happen. I think if there's going to be any reaction, it'll come too late. It'll come when the device has either been announced or it's about to come out, and people will either have to suck it and see. I mean, then you're pushing yourself into the territory then of, if the device doesn't sell, if people can get over their fear of missing out and the device doesn't sell, that'll be what will prompt any kind of change. But for now, the outrage, keep it up by all means, keep the messaging up, keep the pressure on, but it's not enough at the moment. I don't think you can, I will be surprised if Sony do come out and say, yeah, this is a bad idea and we've listened and we're changing our minds. That usually goes hand in hand with, we're losing money, or we potentially are going to lose a lot of money. And I don't think we're at that point yet. You know, when people say, I'm cancelling my PlayStation Plus, well, that just means they're not going to renew it. Now, how many of them people is it not due for renewal for a while yet? There's going to be some, obviously, but Sony's analysis of whether that will be damaging to their business model or not will be over a period of time. It's not going to be immediate, because not everybody's PlayStation Plus comes up for renewal. Camera's gone off. Not everybody's PlayStation Plus comes up for renewal at the same time. So if there is a downturn overall, that's going to be over the course of 12 months, where they'll have enough data then to see whether or not people are truly turning off the console or turning off from playing on the PlayStation. They'll start to get the statistics and the information that will come from that. You know, when you're only about a month since they made the announcement, I don't think there's enough information for Sony to digest to be able to go, yeah, that's a really bad idea. But I think they will try to double down on it anyway, to be honest with you. They're committed to this. They're already making changes in terms of getting rid of factories, changing operations and stuff like that. They really have committed to the actual the idea. They're not. I think this is a little bit beyond. Sometimes companies will throw something out there, and when they throw something out there, they'll gauge a response and then they'll change their mind. You know, they're not actually doing it. They're not actually going to do it. They just say they're going to do it to gauge a response. But I think when you actually are making changes to your operations, when you're changing factory productivity and stuff like that, those are big things. That's a little bit more than pushing an idea out there and seeing what happens. Like I say, whether Microsoft follow suit or not, that's another thing. I think Microsoft could easily steal a march. I mean, we all remember what happened when Sony, with the PS4, did their little thing of doing the opposite of what was perceived to be unpopular, and people dropped the Xbox and went over to the PlayStation. I don't know whether that will be something that will happen this time around. We're 13 years away outside of that, 13 years away from that. The world's a very different place now. People's attitudes are different. A generation of people back then who were little kids have grown up. They're people that are in their 20s, maybe even their early 30s. And they've grown up in a more digitally orientated age. So I see both sides to the argument, but you've got to at least try. You've got to stand for something or fall for everything. That's a simple fact. You got to have principles and make a stand. And if you don't agree with something and you don't like the idea of something, then make a stand on it. You don't have to roll over. You know, at the end of the day, being brutal about it, games are luxuries. Video games is a luxury thing. And that's how it should be looked at. It's not essential. There are also other ways of, playing games. It depends on your view of it and what you're prepared to do. You know, like I say, see what Microsoft is going to do. Or alternatively, if you're of a mind and you are going down the digital route and you're already in that ecosystem, and then you can get the stuff on PC. It's cheaper and there are more available stores. You're not locked into one. So you're always going to get better value. I know that the outlay can initially be expensive and it's not going to get any cheaper. I mean, one thing you could do, get the Steam, oh God, it's the Steam machine, isn't it? Is it the Steam machine? God, it's happened again. You know, that, I know it's expensive, but I reckon that'll be about the same price as what the next gen of consoles will be. And then you've got the Steam library. The only problem with that, of course, is I don't know how limited you are in being able to shop in other places. But Steam have a lot of good sales on. It's just that they have a bit of a shitty attitude with older games. It's like, if the vanilla version doesn't work, you're kind of screwed. And I don't know how you would go about being able to get to places like Nexus Mods to be able to mod the game to work. I really don't know much about the Steam machine. It's not Steam Deck, it's not Steam Box, it's Steam machine, isn't it? I'm sure that's what it is. But yeah, I know, because I'm not really in the market for it. When I found out the price, really, as somebody who games on PC, it wasn't really attractive. I think they should have reduced it, come in at £100 or £200 less, taken the hit, and basically ended the PlayStation and the Xbox at that point. But they didn't, whatever reason. They've chosen not to. But I do think that there are options. There are alternatives. It depends on what you want from gaming. Obviously, if you want to be gaming on the latest and greatest, well, greatest, that's subjective these days, isn't it? But if you want to be gaming on the very latest stuff, then you're going to need the latest hardware. But if you just want a gaming fix, there are many options out there. And a lot of them are really cheap as well. You know, you've got stuff like the Evercade, things like that. That's relatively inexpensive. And yes, a lot of the games are old. But if it's just games you want to play, then you can do that. A lot of the indie games that are on Steam and GOG and places like that, they're not, you know, you can probably game on a reasonable laptop with most of them. I mean, I played Stardew Valley on a pretty basic laptop. It was like a £500 HP laptop. And I could play quite a few games on that, off Steam. I couldn't play the latest stuff, but I could play some of the older stuff. And if you're desperate for a gaming fix, then that's going to provide it. You don't have to lock yourself into the latest thing that's expensive. Because one thing I'll say about this generation, it's been massively disappointing. There's so few games that have come out this generation that have really been of top tier, inspirational. I've said it before, it's just, for me, it's never got going. Particularly from the first party perspective of both Sony and Microsoft, it just really hasn't got going. It's been very underwhelming. And we're 6 years into it. You know, we're now looking at the next gen, and I don't think that this gen has fulfilled its promise. And that doesn't fill me with, I mean, like I say, I wasn't really enthused about the PS6 and the Xbox Helix anyway. And so them consoles not giving me the ability to at least continue to play what I already have going forward, you know, because I've always been mindful of the fact, like I said before, what happens when my hardware packs in that I've got now. Without the ability to do that, it's even less attractive. It's even less attractive. But anyway, that's that. I did find something to talk about. It's again probably just carrying on talking about the same shit. But I mean, at least what it was derived from the fact that I've been playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag and enjoying the hell out of it. And it's a great game. And there's some things I'm not at the combat. I don't know. It's a bit like, okay. It's not the best for me, but it's not the worst. It's not the worst in the Assassin's Creed series. It's sort of like this weird hybrid of the old and the new. I don't know, but it's not put me off the game. That's what I can say about that. It's not put me off. I'm video front. I finished my Resident Evil 0 playthrough, and I started with the Doom DLC, the Dark Ages DLC. As I said in my video last week, I'm kind of approaching it with a different mindset. And I actually already I'm enjoying it more with a different mindset. I'm kind of enjoying it a lot more than before. I think that it just being a bit more reasonable about the expectations I have for the game, rather than wanting it to be a 33-year-old game or play like a 33-year-old game. Just taking it for what it is, and it actually is a lot more enjoyable. So yeah, I've been sort of doing that. And what else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I say, what I want to try and do is mix it up a little bit, so it's not all just Resident Evil or all just Doom. I think I'm going to do a bit of a mix of both. A bit of a couple of videos of the Dark Ages, and then a couple of Resident Evil, the first one, but the remake the GameCube. I don't know what the hell they called it. It was the one that came out on the GameCube anyway. I think that's the superior one to the PlayStation. That's not saying that the PlayStation one is bad. Two things can be true. So a game can be better than another game, but the other game can still be a great game. And the original PlayStation one is a great game. It's just that I think the GameCube one looks better and plays better. And that's it. But it doesn't mean to say that the original PlayStation one's crap, because it isn't. And without that, there wouldn't have been the GameCube one. Anyway, that's enough of that, I think. Right, I think we'll call it there. I shall return and edit this latest masterpiece. And yeah, I think I've got one more Resident Evil video. I think that's the final one. And then on Friday, it should be uploading Doom the Dark Ages. So, we'll call it there. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. And I'll hopefully see you this time next week. Catch you later.